Have you been to the most magical place in the world?
Nope. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I don't know what I was going to say there, but thank you for... Anyway, Alyssa's going to tell us more about Hong Kong today because I don't even know what to say anymore. So.
Okay, well maybe I'll just do some introductions
that
from
would be
here on.
great.
Let me take you to a very magical place. So, I don't, if you've ever been to a Disney, they always say that it's one of the most magical places in the world because they pay attention to all these little details and it's really fun. So Hong Kong also has a Disney. There are a few places around the world that have Disney. Japan has a Disney Sea, which I think I've told you guys about. Paris has a Disney. I'm not sure if there's something unique about this specifically in the name of theirs. And then there's one in Florida and also one out in California. I think that's all of them. And so today I would like to tell you about the Disney in Hong Kong Disneyland Resort. So I got to go with Lydia. She actually knew somebody who works for Disney and they get so many tickets that they can give to friends. And so we got to go with tickets from her friends and we just ended up having to pay the train. So that was very cool. And they want to make sure you get the whole experience. So you take a train to a point like normal transportation and then you switch to a special Disney train where all the windows are shaped like a Mickey Mouse. So it's like a Mickey Mouse face and ears.
And you don't have any pictures of that?
No, because I wasn't a photographer at that point. So then once you take that special Disney train, and at that point you have to have a Disney ticket to be able to go on that special train, then they take you there and then you get your first beautiful overlook of what Disney looks like. And so this was our Disney Hong Kong experience. And there's Mickey riding a surfboard, which I thought was kind of fun. He's riding a surfboard over this whale for this fountain. Man. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Once again, it was kind of a cloudy-ish day. I think it was spring, really close to Easter. I think maybe it was over my spring break that I went. But it still was so cool. Like all these details and little shops, and Disney has like sections of different things that they like focus on. So there's like the area that's like the Star Wars area, the superheroes, the princesses. This is supposed to be like the mini America kind of section too, which Disney Sea has that in Hong Kong too. Or sorry, Japan. And at the time that I went, there was a new Iron Man movie that had come out, so Iron Man was pretty cool. And so there you go, posing with Iron Man, because that's what all the Asians do, is pose with all the statues. And they had this really cute little training thing they were doing with the kids where they were letting them dress up to be Star Wars characters and they were training them with these little lightsabers. It was so adorable. But they like lined them all up and showed them how they could do battle with their little lightsabers. It was so cute. So we stayed and watched. I couldn't understand it because I don't think it was in English. I think it was in Cantonese. And then we got churros, which are typically found in Peru and South America, I think, but they had them over here in this Star Wars land. And then
shaped like lightsabers?
Yeah, so they were supposed to be like lightsabers. Isn't that so fun?
Yeah.
Because the snacks and the food always go with whatever the area is, because it's the most magical place in the world. And then, because it was close to Easter, they had all of the characters look like Easter eggs. So these are the Stormtroopers and Darth Vader Easter eggs that we sat on, I guess, to eat our churros. It just looked kind of funny. And of course, if you go to Disney, there has to be a castle. So here's the castle, and the best part is all of the Asians that are posing there too around us with their Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse ears and everything. So we really enjoyed the day though, and it really wasn't that busy. We got to go on a lot of rides, and I don't think we waited super long in any of the lines. Something else that's super fun about going to Disney are the parades. So they'll have like really cool floats with all the animals and music, and so here's Donald Duck. Maybe it's on Peter Pan's boat. I'm not sure. And then the princesses, of course. They have to have the princesses.
Are they white princesses?
Yeah, I think so. So my friend teased me that I should have dressed up. And then they had dances where they let kids from the audience come in and join in and dance around with the different characters during the parade, which was really cute. Very castle in the background. So we stayed all the way till nighttime, and Moana had just come out, and so they even had little characters from Moana in the dark, but that's where we made it to at that time of the day. And then at night they do a fireworks show, and in Hong Kong they do like a light show, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So they lit up the castle and then had all these cool light displays, and that was very, very cool. So it's a very magical place to visit wherever you go around the world, but that is Disney Hong Kong. So I would suggest it was fun.
So how did Disney take something that people don't like and turn it into something so exciting, like a mouse?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure how Mickey
Took
Mouse
the
got.
creature that nobody likes and like, I'm gonna make this to something that everybody loves.
So cute, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it.
I don't know.
Anyway,
We have some more of our story.
Snacks.
Or snacks, I guess. So last time in our story, we were talking about how Wamdi made a decision that she was going to follow Jesus, and she was going to choose to do right, and she wasn't going to choose to sin anymore. And then right at the end of our story, her parents, her father specifically, asked her to do something that she knew was against God's law, and she knew she shouldn't do it, and she told him that she was not going to do it. She said, no, I belong to Jesus, and I'm not going to do that. And her father was so angry with her. He scolded her for disobeying him. He told her that she needed to do what he said, and he was not kind to her. He beat her, and it left welts on her back. And then he took her out to their family goat house where they stored their goats and their sheep, and he threw her inside and locked the door and left her there. And all the goats and the sheep were making a lot of noises like, what are you doing here in our house? This is where we live. And her father just left her there for days because he was so upset and angry at her. But she was so committed. She had told Jesus she was going to follow him, and that she knew that what her father had asked her to do was wrong, and she wasn't going to do it. Well, a long time in the goat house, she was starting to get kind of hungry. And she tried to even call out to her brother and sister to, like, give her something. And her sister would just spit on the ground when she walked by. And her brothers wouldn't even acknowledge that she was there. And none of her friends would even come by and help her. So she kind of asked herself, is it worth following Jesus to be here by myself, to be hungry, to be thirsty? Is it worth being, like, hated by my family? Nobody seems to even care about me. So she had lots of time to think, and she thought about the cost of following Jesus. Was it really worth following Jesus even though it was hard? And she remembered that Jesus loved her so much that he died for her. That's a lot of love. She thought, you know, the only thing I can do is love him back and try to be a good example to other people. She also remembered Bible verses that Miss Frances had taught her, like one of them that said, I will never leave you or forsake you. That was really encouraging. That meant that God was always going to be with her no matter where she was because she had chosen to follow Jesus. Each day, Wamdi's father would come out to the goat house and he would ask her if she had changed her mind about following Jesus. And she said, no, I'm still going to follow Jesus. I will not stop following him, even if I'm stuck in here. And so for days and days and days, she kept answering the same way. And God was with Wamdi. That's how she could be encouraged, even though it was a really hard time for her. Well, her dad kept asking her, and it did not make him happy when she said that she wasn't going to change and that she was still going to follow Jesus and she wasn't going to do what he asked. So he took her out of the goat house and he punished her again and then put her back inside. But that night she thought about how much Jesus had loved her and what he had done for her, and she decided that made her heart happy. Even though she was in a really bad situation, it made her heart happy to know that God loved her that much. So she began to sing. She was stuck in the goat house, so there's where our title of our story comes from, and she began to sing that night. So it was dark outside, everybody's in their bed, and she began to sing praises to God because she was thankful that Jesus loved her so much. He went through a lot of really terrible things, and he still loved her. So she sang. Well, people started to hear her, and they pushed aside their mats from their door and stepped outside. And where is this singing coming from? Who is doing that? And they realized it was Wamdi singing praises to God. The whole village could hear her and singing from the goat house. So they listened and they heard her sharing all these beautiful messages about God and how he loved her and that he cared for her. Finally, with all that singing, Wamdi's father came out and he let her go. And you have to come back next time to see what else happens with our story.
You have to wait almost all the way to the end to find out where it gets its title.
Yeah, it's kind of like keeping you along.
That's a good one. All right, today's missionary that we're going to tell you about is from the Philippines. And our church supports them, Francisco and Susan Teodoro. And they have been there, well, they've been there for many years because they're Filipino. But our church has supported them for many years. And I have not gotten to meet them in the Philippines. I've met them here. But when we went to the Philippines, it was in a different part of the country. But they give many reports throughout the year about what God is doing there. And so I'm just going to tell you a few things about what has been happening in the recent months. Their summertime is...
Our winter, right?
Yes. And their summertime, it gets over 100 degrees.
Toasty.
And so you can see in this picture there are some fans there in their church building. But he had said that they were hoping to get some air conditioning in there as well because of that heat. So that's pretty crazy. And I believe that because I was there in April and going into May, and it is, or maybe I was just there in May, but it is very hot. So their church is doing well. They also have some churches in the villages that they go and participate in and have helped start.
Oh, I think during COVID we were watching them like build a church building and...
Yeah. And so that's one of the village churches that we've talked about, and it's doing very well. This is a camp that I believe they just were able to do recently, get the land and start building and such. So a few months ago, they had a dedication for it, a dedication for the campground and a dedication for the well. Now, a lot of us probably don't think about that. We just get our water, we drink it, but in some countries, getting clean, drinkable water is very hard. And so when you have a well, that's a huge blessing to them. Of course they're going to dedicate it and do something that we would never even think of doing. And so at this time, they dedicated their well. Thanked God for the clean water. They had VBS recently, just a few weeks ago. And so this is a picture of the kids that came and participated in their VBS. And have you ever had snacks at VBS?
These are snacks? What?
Well, I don't know if this is their snacks.
Oh.
But either way, it's
nice
a meal.
food.
It's not a snack.
Spaghetti?
It's like spaghetti and fried chicken. Yep. So I had snacks at VBS growing up. I never got a meal at VBS. These guys get a meal.
Yummy.
So there's a picture. Must be their kitchen crew there. I saw another picture. I think it was spaghetti and lumpia. Like, oh,
That's
man.
a good subject.
I need to go to the Philippines again.
For VBS.
Well, yeah. And then they break up and they have their smaller classes for the different kids, and so this is one of them. And I think this next picture is from the same group. Yep. And so anyway, they have a lot going on right now. They also have different outreaches and gifts that they will give to the kids for different things. And we've talked about other Filipino missionaries we know that do the same thing, where they'll have school supplies or shoes or things that they give, and this is a good way to reach out and bring families and kids, mothers, so that they can share the gospel with them. So they have a lot going on. They're always busy, always sending us pictures. So praise God for what they're being able to do there, and pray that they would continue to see fruit from their ministry. Not just people coming and having a good time, but people trusting Christ and seeing these churches grow.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's been a little bit since we've done an update on them too.
It has been.
Very Cool. Well, make sure you come back next week to get a review of the missionaries, last part of the story, and a little bit more about Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.